The most famous comedian in America doesn't live like a celebrity. Stephen Colbert talks about politics every night on TV, but when the lights go off, his life turns quiet. He spends mornings teaching Sunday school in a small church basement in New Jersey. 12 chairs, one table, no cameras. It's simple and calm. But that calm hides a story few people know. Behind maple trees in Montclair, there's a colonial home worth about $3.5 million. No walls, no guards, just a porch light that stays on past midnight. He keeps it on because he remembers what darkness feels like. Millions see him on TV 5 nights a week, but few know what happens on the 6th, or why his wife Evelyn doesn't watch his show, or what he keeps locked inside the smallest room of his house. This story isn't about fame. It's about what he's hiding from fame. Because in his world, hidden doesn't mean secret, it means sacred. To understand what he's protecting, we must first know what he lost. It began in Charleston, with church bells, salt air, and a boy's world ending. In the 1960s and 70s, the Colbert family lived in Charleston, South Carolina. There were 11 children, full of noise, laughter, and faith. It was chaos, but the kind held together by love and rules. Stephen was the youngest, the one everyone called the observer. He learned to watch before he spoke. He could read a room before anyone else said a word. His father, James, was a doctor and a deeply faithful man. He taught Stephen that intelligence and humility can live side by side. His mother, Lorna, was the heart of the family. Even when she was tired, she stayed kind and steady. She showed him that grace under pressure isn't a gift, it's a choice. Dinner meant debates about politics, philosophy, and Tolkien. Nights ended with family prayers and soft laughter in the hall. It was a home where ideas mattered as much as love, and both were abundant. Stephen learned early that being the youngest meant being the quietest. But quiet didn't mean invisible. He was listening to everything. Every laugh, every tension, every truth between words. Without knowing it, he was training for the life he'd live. But in 1974, that beautiful chaos shattered, and the quietest child became the survivor, the one who would spend a lifetime rebuilding what one day destroyed. On September 11th, 1974, Stephen Colbert's father and 2 brothers were on a plane. It never made it home. The crash took James, Paul, and Peter, 3 voices that once filled their house. 3 people who would never hear him grow up. 3 futures, gone in one morning. Stephen was at school, not knowing that his world had already changed forever. There were no screams when he learned the truth, just stillness. A house that had never known silence suddenly stood quiet. His mother's face said everything. No words, just pain and faith fighting for space. That day created 2 Stephens. The boy before September 11th, who dreamed of oceans and discovery, and the boy after, who learned that the world doesn't stop for your grief, so you learn to carry it quietly. His mother, Lorna, didn't collapse. She prayed. She held her children. She chose not bitterness, but endurance. And Stephen, watching her, made a quiet promise. If she could survive this with grace, then grace must be the strongest thing in the world. But grief wasn't done with him yet. It had one more door to close, one more dream to end. And this time, it would push him toward the thing he would later master: performance. As a teenager, Stephen Colbert dreamed of becoming a marine biologist. He wanted to study the ocean, to explore the deep, silent world beneath the waves. But that dream ended early. A botched ear surgery left him deaf in his right ear. The Navy wouldn't take him. The ocean career was gone. He wanted to explore depths. Instead, he had to create them, not in water, but in words, in characters, and in the space between truth and laughter. That deaf ear became his quiet superpower. He learned to watch faces more than listen to words. He could sense emotion before people spoke. He knew when someone was real and when they were pretending. Those habits became the tools of his comedy. The skills of survival turned into the art of satire. Years later on The Late Show, he'd move every interview chair slightly left, so guests always sat on his hearing side. A small detail no one noticed, but it mattered to him. A quiet reminder that every strength he had came from something broken. The sea was gone. The father was gone. The plan was gone. But there was one place left where he could lose himself and finally breathe again. That place was the stage. In 1990, in Charleston, Stephen Colbert met Evelyn McGee at a theater festival. It was years before The Daily Show or The Late Show. She was an actress, smart, calm, and not impressed by performance. On their first date, he tried to be funny. She told him to stop trying, and something inside him relaxed for the first time in years. They married young, before money, before fame, before the character that made him famous. Evelyn didn't marry Stephen Colbert, the Emmy winner. She married a broke comedian who loved Tolkien and still had nightmares about a plane crash. She saw his pain and didn't try to erase it. She just stayed. That was the love he needed. Not someone to fix the grief, but someone who wouldn't leave because of it. Before they married, Evelyn asked for one promise. Whatever you become out there, come home as yourself, not the character, not the performer. And Stephen agreed. That quiet vow, never spoken publicly, is why their marriage has lasted more than 30 years. But keeping that promise would get harder, because fame was coming. And soon, millions would love a version of Stephen Colbert that Evelyn refused to meet. In 2005, Stephen Colbert built something new. A character named Stephen Colbert. He looked like him, sounded like him, but wasn't him. This version was loud, confident, and arrogant. Everything the real Stephen wasn't. It was armor, a way to say truth without being vulnerable, a way to challenge power without showing the pain underneath. Every night after the show, he'd drive home from Manhattan to Montclair. 1 hour in silence, shedding the character mile by mile. Evelyn could always tell when the mask was still on, when Colbert was still standing in the kitchen instead of Stephen. By then they had 3 kids, Madeline, Peter, and John. At home, he made one rule. The character never came inside. At the dinner table, he wasn't a satirist. He was a dad who helped with homework and told bad jokes. His kids didn't watch his show, not because they weren't allowed, but because he didn't want them to confuse the performance with the parent. Fame gave him a platform, but it also gave him a mask. And the longer he wore it, the harder it became to remember his real face. That conflict was about to explode in 2015, when CBS came calling with The Late Show, and he had to decide, keep the armor or take it off in front of millions. In 2015, CBS offered Stephen Colbert The Late Show, $15 million a year. He didn't say yes right away. He called Evelyn and asked, "Do we need this? What if it changes us?" She said, "Decide now who you want to be when this is over." He took the job but made rules. One home, no Malibu, public school for the kids. He gave $800,000 to teachers, $1 million to charity, and kept life simple. His net worth, $75 million, is not pride. It's purpose to him. Money isn't safety, it's responsibility. Montclair, New Jersey, no gates, no security. Just a porch light that stays on 2 rocking chairs, one for Stephen, one for Evelyn. Their home cost $3.5 million, but it's not a mansion, it's a promise. In the kitchen, they cook together on Friday nights. No cameras, no guests. In his office, he writes letters to his kids and his late mother. One room stays locked, full of photos, books, and letters from the past. This isn't where he performs. It's where he stops performing, where dad and husband are the only names that matter. In 2024, Stephen Colbert announced The Late Show would end in 2026. Not because of ratings. He's still #1 because of time. He's 60, his kids are grown, and Evelyn has waited long enough. His mother's words echo, "Don't wait too long to come home." He's not tired of work. He's tired of being 2 people. Evelyn is relieved. Their kids are proud. He's planning what's next. Teaching, writing, and Sunday school. He wants to be one man, not a character. Finally present. Finally home. Sunday mornings, teaching Sunday school in a small Montclair church. Friday nights, dinner with Evelyn, cooked at home, no spotlight. Saturday mornings, coffee on the porch, 2 rocking chairs, quiet talks in his office. He writes letters. To his kids, to Evelyn, to his mother. No stage, no noise, just life. He's not hiding from fame. He's protecting what fame can't have. His faith, his family, his peace. These small moments, dinners, letters, coffee, are the real success. Because his hidden life isn't about secrets, it's about sanctuary. In his garage, 3 cars tell his story. An Audi A8, quiet, steady, drives him home from Manhattan to Montclair. An Audi R8, his one indulgence, a reward for surviving a Volvo S80. Old simple, once used for school run. He keeps it as a reminder of who he was before fame. 3 cars, 3 lives. The professional, the survivor, the father, he keeps them all. Because his hidden life isn't about choosing one identity, it's about accepting all of them. The man who made millions, but Stephen Colbert's hidden life isn't secret. It's sacred. He chose faith over fame, family over spotlight, presence over applause. No masks now, no character left. Just one man home with Evelyn, 2 rocking chairs, and a life finally whole. He built fame, kept faith, and protected family. The world got the performance. His loved ones got the person. If that moved you, like, share, comment, and subscribe for more hidden truths.